in your life, sir, you studied a whole bunch of things. You started with a BSc in physicals, you went to an MSc in electricals, post-graduation from ISC Bangalore, and then you joined ISRO, worked for 4 decades, and then you eventually retired as the chief of ISRO. So for us, the conundrum is, and therefore this question, the conundrum is what to do in life. Because sometimes we're grappling with the problem of too many choices that we have, and therefore we can't select what we need to do. So my question to you is, how does a young person decide what he or she wants to do or what they want to do in their life?
Actually, this is a challenge for everybody throughout the life, not just at the beginning of life. So what is really needed is not worrying too much about what is going to happen later. At that point of time, whatever you are doing, how well you can do, how you can become proficient in whatever you are doing, and even as you are doing that, learn newer things, explore. That means more and more exploring. See, for example, when you say, when I was a child, when I was growing up, the whole interest in us was, if you are going to school, study well, sports, do well, read, participate in all kinds of competition. So explore your own ability of what you can do in life, from studies to sports to extracurricular activities. That means that is the mechanism by which you are trying to find out what you are good at. For that, you need to really make sure, push yourself and participate in all kinds of activity. So right now, for example, what you are trying to do by bringing all of them, showcasing to them that there is so much more to life than just getting to school and colleges, etc. So primary thing I would say is, you need to get into the habit of learning what you are capable of. That's the best way of journey through the life, and it never ends, no matter where you are. You have also heard of people at the age of 70 doing PhDs, doctorates, etc. That is, they are trying to find their new avenues later also.
No, very rightly said, sir. What you did mention, that you need to continuously evolve, you continuously learn, and then you eventually find where you're going. So, but in a world where of instant gratification, in a world where it's both Dua Lipa and Duolingo, in a world where essentially you've got so many choices and you're spoiled for choices. Sir. Earlier it used to be very simple, sir. It used to be, when I was in school, it was, आप chartered accountant बनोगे या doctor बनोगे, lawyer बनोगे, scientist बनोगे. These were the choices that we had when we were in school. And now, of course, they have plethora of choices. Therefore, it sometimes does cause a distraction. So how do you focus and make that choice? So do you keep experimenting till you find?
Yeah, obviously you can, yourself, whatever question you are posing, you see what's happening there. That there is so many things to do. Obviously you cannot do everything. Even with among the choices what you have to pick something which is of interest to you. That means what you need to find, what is your interest. That means in all these cases, it all finally comes back to understanding your own self. Both as parents and educators and guiders, we need to make sure how to make the individual learn about the self capability and interest. So for that, sometimes they will have to take chances. Even when they find that this is not of interest, they should explore, try. If they do well, pursue, otherwise change. So when you have multiple choices, it is not that this one route is correct. If that were the world, then everybody would have gone through coaching classes and achieved what they want. So coaching alone is never going to work. That is the key thing there.
Right, sir. And sir, you mentioned that you need to take chances. Now, when you take these chances, that time it does happen that you sometimes land up failing. In your case, sir, you've had an illustrious journey, but you've had, your work on Bhaskar 1 was not perhaps as good as Bhaskar 2, which was, and then eventually it progressed, and then you've got so many successful missions that came through. For young people, adversity, and how do you deal with adversity? Because in a day and age where mental health
Yeah.
is such central focus. People like you who faced adversity and then you've come out of that adversity, you've gone ahead. What is your message to young people when they face any challenge and failure?
Now, here is where we need to understand. See, at any given point of time, what I can do depends on what knowledge I have and what skills I have learned. And if I want to remain within the confines of that knowledge and that skill, where I can reach is very limited. That means you are only one among the many. So if you want to make a thing happen, you have to go beyond your current knowledge, go beyond your current capabilities. That means if you want to go beyond your current knowledge and capability, one of the things that can definitely happen is failure. So again, probably many of you would have heard that if you have not failed in life, it only means you have not tried hard enough to go beyond what you are today. So failure is an essential component of the life journey. And then to understand that failing is not a problem. Failing is a process where it helps you learn the problems, how to tackle them. So you need to understand that failures are essential in life. And you should not be afraid of failures, because in failure you learn many more things than in success. If for example you are attempting something, very first time you succeed, it may be by chance. But if you fail, you know what all things can cause problem. You will prepare yourself for that and then take corrective action. For example, even Thomas Alva Edison, when he was asked, he said he found 1,000 ways in which a bulb will not work before he finally succeeded. So failure is not something we should be detesting. Failure, the sooner we encounter failure and deal with it, we will be better off. So in the case of Bhaskar also, if you look at, I just want to narrate this a little bit. See, we were, for example, building India's first imaging system, orbiting from space. We were given an opportunity by Russians to take a satellite and put it into orbit. So we were building a camera on that. The satellite itself was a spinning satellite. It is going around Earth, but at the same time it is spinning. That means if you want to take the image of the Earth, you should be looking at the center of the Earth when you want to take a picture. So even as it is spinning, you have to find out when it does. At that instant, you have to click and then send the data. So the system we had built, and the day of launch came. After the launch, we were all in ground station, ready to receive the picture. So the command was sent from ground station, and we were expecting to see the picture on a TV screen. But instead of that, the panel which was showing the status of the satellite all flashed red, showing that there is a lot of problem there. But then we spent about almost 1 year understanding by building a simulation model, taking it through all the test conditions, and found after a certain period of time for the system what we had built, if we operate again, we are likely to get the images. So 1 year later, we went to Sherikota, we operated, we got the images. So what it showed is there were so many problems that could occur. But then by putting in the effort, we understood all that. In fact, that is one which gave us experience in future. How building complex things can get into problem, how we should test it before we launch, and what new methodologies have to be. Because at that time, unlike today, you don't have internet or connectivity. All information is very restricted. Launch vehicle technology and satellite technology is also very few countries have. No sharing of information is there. So basically, the failure helped us that you need to prepare a lot more, and then same way in Chandrayaan 2 to Chandrayaan 3 also, it's a very similar thing. So failure is, we should not be afraid of failures, but we need to make sure that what failed is important to be found out.
Beautifully said. You can clap in the middle if you feel like this is So what you mentioned again in this, and on a lighter note, basically what you're trying to say is that if we fail at mathematics, it's okay.
Anything. You fail at anything, it's okay.
Is okay.
That you should be prepared to accept.
But sir, this is the problem, no? Like when you saw the red lights flashing and when we see the red marks coming in an examination, this used to happen to me sometimes. So when you see the red marks on the paper, at that juncture or when you face any adversity, the mental state that is there, so the resilience and to bounce back from that, it's very well, sir, in a way to put it across that one must bounce back. But having lived that and having seen the fact that, look, everything that we worked for so long, which was our board examinations or our school examinations, and then instead of scoring the 99 on maths, suddenly you get 69 or 79 or 89 on maths, then it's to bounce back from there becomes difficult. So how do you prepare your mind, or how do you train your mind to bounce back from such a situation?
No, this is where I think the whole point is you are all the time looking at getting to the top, number one, etc. Why that is important? What is important in life finally? You as an individual are going through an experience, exploring the world, seeing it and experiencing it. In that experience today, particularly for India, the problem is because of numbers. Any position that is there, it's a restricted opportunity, lot of competition. So those who perform very well only can reach that. So that's the kind of that is built up. But why should we be building it up like that? Why should we all the time say that getting here is the end of the world? So instead of that, if each one of us, actually human being has such phenomenal potential, what he or she can achieve, there is no limit. If we make them comprehend that they are given a capability when they come to this world, and if they comprehend what those capabilities are there, they can set their own new targets, their own things, and achieve much beyond what anybody else has done. Today, primarily the problem of what we are seeing is, we have said this is what is to be done. That is where we are getting into more and more problems.
So what I was trying to get at is that sometimes we give up very easily. So you didn't give up.
Yeah, not giving up is again a thing where you are confident of yourself that you have ability, though I might have failed in this particular attempt. I did not do enough preparation for achieving what I wanted. It's only because of my limitation, my inability, that the result what I got, it is not because of somebody else. It is because of me. If we can bring this kind of a narrative also, that you have the option of doing what you want, and it is your ability which is determining what you are succeeding or not succeeding. And if you are able to bring in that kind of a narrative, I think we will achieve far more. Every individual has so much potential. They can make the world of their own. And by trying to tell this is the only place to go, everybody should go only here. That's where the problem.
So next time your parents say you have to do something, you can show them this clip. Saying that, so said that let me go and do what I want to do and I want to achieve. But sir, sometimes it's not individuals who determine the outcome. Sometimes it's a collective team effort. Just like Abhishek was talking, sometimes it's not Virat Kohli, Sharma alone. It is the entire Mumbai Indians or RCB that determine whether the team is going to win or not. So when it comes to space also, earlier it used to be an area which was restrictive in terms of sharing of information. Now, of course, countries freely share information with each other. It's just like in school projects, sir. When we work in a school project, at that juncture, sometimes you're paired with people that you don't like and sometimes you're paired with people that you like. And that determines whether the project is successful or not successful. So when you're paired with people that you like and you're fond of, that is fairly easy. But sir, you would have worked with different nations, with different perspectives and thought processes about solving a particular gremlin. How do you deal with people that are not so pleasant and yet come up with a favourable outcome?
I think here again probably I need to correct one other information, that when you keep growing up or going to higher and higher places, you don't share everything. The world works in a way where if you have achieved a certain position, you want to prevent others from reaching there. That's a competitive world in that sense. But anyway, coming back to your question, the question is, there are activities which can be done only as a group because you need people with different skills and different capabilities to put together, make things happen. If you take a rocket has to go to space, then the amount of effort that is required is a huge number. And then everybody has to put in the correct amount of effort and then making sure what they are working on works satisfactorily. Then these are of course definitely issues for which there are no easy answers. The only thing that can be done is putting everybody's best effort and then bringing in enough verification mechanism of what has been done. If those, that's where cross checks and multiple cross checks are there. Quality control and quality assurance becomes a very important aspect. That means when you are bringing in a large number of people to work together, you need to also have mechanisms to verify whether what has been done correctly or not. If it is not correctly done, how to test it. We talk of what you can fly as you test and test as you fly. That means the way the system is supposed to work when it goes into space, we need to test them that. So build in mechanisms for verifying the performance at various places becomes essential. But in spite of that, many times you don't achieve success, but at that time, what you need to understand is, instead of trying to identify who caused the problem, you have to identify what caused the problem and solve it. See, in real life world, many times the issue with respect to failures, etc., is putting blame on individuals rather than what activity that individual did which caused the problem. So we are trying to actually mix up. This is true in life also. So many times we are quickly trying to find out he is to be blamed, she is to be blamed and all that. But instead of that, if you try to find out what that person did which was not correct, then you can build among the team also that kind of a confidence, saying that it is not me who is being blamed, what I did on a particular time which is getting blamed. So then the team also builds up with that. So they understand that you are a member of the team even if it did not succeed. In fact, here very interesting examples you would see. Probably many of them would also have read Abdul Kalam's book, where he has said when he was the project director of PSL, the first launch vehicle, the very first launch failed. At that time, Satish Dhawan, who was the chairman of ISRO, he said, I will take the press conference, answer the questions, so you stay away. So he shielded Abdul Kalam from that public event. The next time when the success occurred, he said, you go and face the press, I will stay away. So basically what I'm trying to tell is, what you need to appreciate is, it is not the individual that's the problem. So many times we get into this problem of, in real life, by bringing in people erroneously. We need to identify, everybody has good and bad qualities, great qualities and less this thing. So if we are able to identify, it's not the individual who is wrong, what he or she did in a particular thing which caused problem. The same thing holds good even in your earlier question. Though I might not succeed in one subject, I might be able to do succeed. So why should I be thinking that I am bad? Only my knowledge of that particular thing is bad. If I look at that, maybe it's a different perspective.
Basically change the lens with which you are viewing the problem, and you'll find the solution in changing the lens. Great. My next question, sir, is in regards to women participation in the field of science. So according to World Bank, women make up nearly 43% of STEM graduates in India, and this is one of the highest percentages in the world. However, women comprise only about 14% of scientists, engineers and technologists at research institutions and universities. Of course, ISRO is doing its own bit. But where do you think, sir, the gap is coming? Because if so many people are enrolling, then eventually when it comes to positions of power, why are we not seeing that paradigm shift in society? Or do you think that it's just going to take a few more years and we'll get there?
No, I think it's only a matter of time before that happens. Because if you look at every individual, every human being is a great scientist, is born like that. But then what opportunities they get, and here again same thing, many times people even within the opportunity they get, if they are not pushing themselves beyond some point, assuming that this is how things have been happening. So this is another problem, probably paradigm you need to look at. If everything were to happen tomorrow on the basis of what has been happening till today, will tomorrow be any different? So tomorrow will only be an extension of what has been happening. But you know that's not the case. So things are changing. So the change, tomorrow will be different is the real issue. So we need to make it happen. So that's where today, even in our own organization, for example, we don't really distinguish in that sense the gender of the individual in terms of capability. Everybody has a tremendous intellectual capability and skills, etc. So if you do take away that part of it, they get the opportunity to reach where they are. Today we have a large number of our people who have become directors, project directors, program directors, etc. Same thing is possible every other arena also. World is changing, India is also moving ahead. I'm sure things will be very different tomorrow.
India is definitely progressing, and Viksit Bharat in 2047 is what everybody hopes for. But you, sir, today are a role model to so many people, so many aspiring scientists, so many people in ISRO and across various walks of life. So, growing up for you and even today, is there somebody who has been your role model, who's been an inspiration for you?
No, even as I was a sort of school kid, etc., at that time, one of the books we used to read was from Swami Vivekananda. So he has been, in a way, you can say, my role model in trying to understand the world and different perspectives. So I am very much influenced by his thought process, etc. And then the other person whom I can recognize as a person who has made a change in my life is actually, there's a story I would like to tell with respect. When I was doing my pre-university, that is after the schooling, before getting into graduation, I was trying to become a doctor. I had chosen physics, chemistry, biology as my stream. And that year, I had performed very well. I got the highest marks in PCB section in the university. So I was assured of a seat to medical college. But then I found, to my surprise, that that year, it was a rule. On the 1st of October, you should have completed 16 years for getting entry. I was short of completing 16 years by 22 days because I was born on 22nd October. On 1st of October, I should have completed 16 years. So I did not get admission that year to medical college. So then I joined at that time another college in Bangalore where I did my physics honors. And in that place, we had a principal who was known as Dr. H. Narasimhan. So he was actually a person who had almost like a social reformer, though he was a nuclear physics professor and all that. So his influence on me changed my course, and then I did not think of taking medicine again after 1 year when I would have completed 16 years and go back to that. I continued this journey. And then again in that same year, we also had Neil Armstrong's setting its foot on the moon, 1969. So we listened to that in the transistor, unlike today's TV or mobile. So we heard it on transistor. So H. Narasimha and Vivekananda, in a way, you can say, molded my thought process beyond that point.
Swami Vivekananda continues to be an inspiration, and people like you and the stories that you narrate continue to be inspiring for young people. I promise to you that this is no Rajdeep Sardesai or Arnab Goswami interview. and it's young people, and therefore we'll end with a small rapid fire. So whatever is the first word that comes to your mind when I say the following words is what you need to say. I'm inspired by a friend and a mentor who does this on television. Perhaps you know him. We will try with. So the first word being space exploration.
Neil Armstrong. Neil Armstrong.
ISRO.
Bringing space technology solution to India.
Your most memorable mission.
Mars mission.
Dr. Vikram Sarabhai.
A phenomenal individual who had such vision that even today we are following.
Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam.
Very simple, down-to-earth person, very amicable, but at the same time, very, you can say, inspiring.
And I am on conference in outer space.
Should happen soon. Because you can see India is planning to put man on moon or humans on moon by 2040. So now you can set your targets when you want to do your I.I.M.U.N conference, either on moon or somewhere beyond that.
Actor that you would like, who should play you in a movie. Suppose there was a movie about you, who should be the actor who should be playing you?
Okay. My best actor choice is Amitabh Bachchan, but whether he should play my role or not, I don't know.
So when I say India, that is Bharat, what is the first thought that comes to your mind?
No, it's the entire universe is actually embedded in Bharat.
And when I say young people or youth, what is it that comes to your mind?
The energy that is there and the opportunity that each one of them have in exploring this world from their own perspective.